Hi everyone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I'm your host, Dr. Haider Shah. On behalf of Colvos, I would like to welcome all of you to this webinar. Thank you very much for joining us. Today we have another very interesting topic, and I'm really honored to welcome and introduce our distinguished guest speaker who is going to talk about the art and science of creative event design. What is event design, event management? What are the important things to understand and learn it as a proper discipline? So we'll get the best insights and the right guidance and suggestions about it because in this session we have an expert with us. So stay tuned because an amazing stuff are coming ahead in this session. So before we start, I would like to thank the Kalwas for arranging such enlightenment sessions, for their support and providing such a wonderful platform. The aim of the Kalwas is to give you the opportunity to interact with the world-renowned speakers, teachers, authors, researchers, experts, professionals, businessmen, to share their views, experiences, and tips which will create an impact and will enable you to learn new things and to develop yourself in order to grow individually as well as to contribute to the world at large. As our slogan is come, learn, and share knowledge. So today we have a very special guest. He is a well-known personality in academia as well as in industry. Because of his vast experience, we always see him on different platforms while contributing to the field and world. Moreover, through his great knowledge and wisdom, people are getting the right guidance and knowledge. Above everything, he is always extending his helping hand to the people and he is ready to share his knowledge. Let me introduce him formally. Uh, his current positions are as head of the Partnerships School of Business and Law, Buckinghamshire New University, United Kingdom, and the president of the Asia Pacific Institute for Events Management. Moreover, the chair for the Sri Lanka Institute for Events Management Board of Study, the adjunct professor, Faculty of Business and Management, and Faculty of Hotel and Tourism Management, University Technology, Mara, Malaysia, a managing editor, the Asia Pacific International Events Management Journal, chief executive of the United Kingdom Event Industry Academia. Moreover, a distinguished professor at Changhua University, Taiwan, visiting professor at Bali Institute of Tourism, Indonesia, the Batam Tourism Polytechnic, Indonesia, Batam Institute of Tourism, Indonesia, and Palembang Polytech of Tourism, Indonesia. Moreover, until 31st of August 2016, he remained the head of the school events, tourism, and hospitality, Leeds Beckett University, United Kingdom. Over 30 years of experience working in the tourism, events, and hospitality industry in the United Kingdom and overseas, and networking with the senior industry and executive educators. Moreover, extensive events, the tourism and hospitality experience in the Southeast Asia in particular. In addition to that, he is a frequently invited keynote speaker at various conferences and presentation on topics related to event management, sustainable tourism, and employability skills in India, Sri Lanka, Russia, Cyprus, Taiwan, Philippines, Malaysia, Indonesia, and of course now in Pakistan. As an international expert on how students can develop their employability skills and how employability skills development can be integrated into the curriculum. Furthermore, he is the author of the textbook on event management, sustainable tourism, and employability skills. Here I would like to mention some of the interesting facts regarding him are he worked on 10 books as authored and edited. He delivered 15 keynote presentation and still contributing. As an author, he has worked on 12 book chapters. Moreover, he worked in 17 referred journals papers and conference presentation published. He carried out 45 research and consultancy projects with a total value of 632,000 US dollar. Last but not least, he's a wonderful contributor to the world, to the field. He's a wonderful speaker, author, teacher, researcher, professional, and above everything, he's a great human being. So please help me in welcoming our guest, Professor David Hind. Welcome to the Kalwas platform, and thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you so much, Dr. Haider Shah, for that wonderful introduction. And I'm always humbled to hear all of the achievements which are read out about me whenever I speak. So thank you so much.
It's a
And
pleasure to have you, Prof, with us. As a reminder to the audience that Professor Devin Hind will be presenting, and he would, of course, leave time for the question answer session at the end of the session. You can ask the question, of course, it is if it is not covered in the session. You can email us or you can write in comment section, and we will definitely ask the Professor David Hind to answer it. So over to you, Prof, please.
thank you so much. And it is a great honor for me to be with you this afternoon in Pakistan and all over the world where our listeners are with us
Yes,
on the
true.
YouTube channel this
Yes.
afternoon.
Because
So,
people are listening to you around the world, and it would be wonderful. I'm so excited to listen to you, Prof. It would be wonderful. Thank you very
okay.
much.
So I'll now go to my screen share and put my presentation onto the screen. I hope that you can see my presentation in
Yes,
front of
Prof.
you.
It's visible. Carry on, please.
That's excellent.
Thank you. Thank you.
And as you know, the title of my presentation this afternoon is The Art and Science of Creative Event Design. I'll speak for about 35 minutes, and then I'll be very happy to have a question and answer session with you on anything relating to events management or the speech which I am about to give. I'm not able to be with you in Pakistan and other countries today because of international travel restrictions. So today I'm speaking with you from the United Kingdom and from my home city, which is called Leeds, which is right in the center of the United Kingdom. A few words before I start my presentation about the Asia Pacific Institute for Events Management. We abbreviate Asia Pacific Institute for Events Management to APM. APM. APM is a membership organization. We have individual members who are students, faculty lecturers, and event professionals in all of the countries that you can see in front of you. And as you will see, there's one notable country that's not listed, which is Pakistan. So hopefully, following my presentation, we'll have many new members from Pakistan. We also have institutional members, and institutional members are universities, polytechnics, or colleges that we have accredited because they offer an international standard of events curriculum for the teaching for their students. And we have our universities, polytechnics, and colleges as institutional members in all of those countries highlighted in red. For further information about APM, please visit our website, www.theapm.com. And we're active in social media. And for students, if you'd like to join our closed Facebook group for students, please send a friend request to APM Student Membership. And for everybody else, please do like us on Facebook. Our Facebook name is APM, Asia Pacific Institute for Events Management. So please do follow us. And for students, please do join our closed Facebook group. Although if you're not a student, please also join our APM Student Membership Group, where we communicate information about APM, our members, and the events industry. The purpose of my presentation this afternoon is to explain how art and science combine to create memorable event experiences. And I'll speak for about 30 minutes. And after my presentation, very happy to answer questions that you might have. The content of my presentation is based upon the APM book, which is International Best Practice in Event Management, and it's available as an ebook on Google Books. The art of creative event design. I'm going to start off by talking about the art. And in relation to the art, I think there are 4 building blocks that contribute to the art of creative event design. The first building block is creativity. All events that we organize have to have creativity within them, because it's that creativity that generates excitement with the people who are coming to our event. And it also helps us have a competitive advantage when competing against other event organizing companies. So creativity is very much an art of creative event design. What is creativity? Well, creativity, in my view, is about making new associations between ideas and seeing new opportunities that emerge from a discussion of existing ideas. We can use research to help with our creativity, but we can also do it ourselves. And this is a picture of somebody who is thinking. They need to come up with a new idea, perhaps for an event. So they start thinking. They have one idea, they process that idea more, they come up with a better idea, they keep on thinking until they have what they consider to be an ideal idea for an event. So creativity, you don't have to be a special person, because we can all start to think in creative ways. And another way of thinking about creative thinking is that it's divergent thinking. And divergent thinking is where we think of many different solutions to a situation that we're facing, many different ways in which we can create an event. And divergent thinking is what occurs when we work in a team, when we work in a group. It's what happens when you are at university, polytechnic or college, and you're working on a group assignment. You share your ideas, you create a lot of ideas, and in divergent thinking, you don't judge those ideas. The intention is to create as many ideas as possible. So on the left-hand side of this diagram, that's the result of divergent thinking. You've got many ideas, some of which might be crazy or random, but you've generated lots of ideas that might result in the problem being solved. You then engage in convergent thinking, which is then working through each of the ideas that have been generated in divergent thinking, reducing the many, perhaps to 4, perhaps to 2, until you have a preferred idea to take forward. So when I talk about creative thinking, it's a process. We can all be creative thinkers because it's about generating ideas, and we can be structured in how we create those ideas when we work in a team. So creative thinking It's something that we can all do. You don't have to be a special person. So creativity is a process. We can use research. We can use creative thinking to solve problems. But a good way to think about creativity is to step outside our existing boundary of knowledge. And this is important in events. When you're creating an event, try to create something that people might not have experienced before, to give them a really wow factor and a strong reason for coming to your event. So that's the first building block of the art of creative event design, creativity. The second art of creative event design is storytelling. And I think this is sometimes misunderstood or not implemented by event designers. Storytelling. Every event should tell a story. Every event should tell a story. So when you are starting to plan an event, you need to understand what story you will be telling through your event. Because when you understand your story, you can then put together the other elements of creative event design. And I'll illustrate what I'm saying in the next few slides. You have to think about the many different stories that you can tell through an event. You'll be telling a story about yourself, the event organizer. If your event is successful, if it's professionally designed, you will be telling a story about you to the event participants, who might come to you the next time they want an event organizing. You can also tell stories about the participants. And this is particularly true if it's a wedding or a family celebration. Think about the stories that you will tell about the participants through that event. You're also telling a story about the client's brand. And this is true if it's a business event. How can you tell a good story about the client's brand through the event that you are organizing? And you can also tell stories about the sponsors. Most events need sponsors to make them successful. So incorporate a story about the sponsors in the design of the event. So you can tell many different stories through your event, but every event should tell a story. Very, very important, because it gives you a focus for designing the other aspects of the event around. I'm going to ask you a question. I'm not going to ask you to answer it live on YouTube, but just think about this question. The Miss Universe pageant was created in 1952. Why? Why was Miss Universe as a pageant created in 1952? Well, the answer is straightforward. It was an opportunity to tell a story. In 1952, we didn't have a great deal of television. We didn't have a great deal of cinema advertising. We didn't have, obviously, the internet and everything we can do with the internet. So this company called Catalina, which was based in the west coast of America in California, produced bathing costumes for ladies. And they wanted to promote their bathing costumes outside of California, across the world. So how could they do it? They decided to create an event called the Miss Universe Beauty Pageant, whereby all of the participants from all of the countries would be wearing Catalina bathing costumes. So Miss Universe was created in 1952 to tell a story about Catalina Company in California that produced ladies' bathing costumes. Storytelling for an event. But what does the Miss Universe pageant tell now? What is the story that's told in 2021? It's a story about fantastic design. It's a story about beautiful evening dresses and all of the associated products that are part of the Miss Universe pageant. It's also a story about the countries where the participants come from. So the Miss Universe pageant is a good example of how an event can tell many different stories. So every event should tell a story. And today's event is about storytelling as well. I'm telling you a story about creative event design. And I hope that you enjoy my story that I'm telling you today. The third art of creative event design is experience. And experience really relates to what will people do when they come to your event. When people come to your event, you don't want them just to be sitting still. You want them to be doing something. So as an event designer, you have to think about the experience that your participants will have when they come to your event. And events can create extraordinary experiences. And those experiences build anticipation and excitement before the participants come. And it's part of the events industry. Make your participants excited. Make them want to come to your event because they're going to have a fantastic experience. And this word is very important, immersion. When you organize an event, you need to immerse your participants in the event. And immerse means enable your participants to do something. Don't just let them sit and listen, which unfortunately we're doing today. But in an live in-person event, what can you do to immerse your participants in the event? And you can use our senses to do that. You can immerse your participants through sight, sound, touch, taste, and being together in a space and sharing those experiences. And also, when designing an event, think about the creative flows. What is the music soundtrack to your event? What is the lighting color scheme design for your event? Think about the music soundtrack. What music will you play at the beginning, in the middle, towards the end? And how will the lighting that you're using accentuate and emphasize the music and the creativity? And also, if you can, try to build in a peak experience into the design of your event, a highlight, something that the participants will remember for a long period of time. And immersion is illustrated in this picture here. This is a music festival. There's a robot in the middle of the arena with fireworks. And if we are at home, as we are now, watching on our screens, all that we can experience is the sight and the sound. But if we are in the arena, we can dance, we can touch our friends, we can smell the smoke of the fireworks, we can sing along to the musicians, and we are immersed. We are immersed in the heart of the action. So when you are designing your events, how will your participants have a fantastic experience? And if you can have a climax to your event, build it in and make it special. And going back to the Miss Universe pageant, the climax of the show is when the winner is crowned as being the winner. And everybody in the audience will be clapping and shouting and cheering with their friends. And when the crown is passed to the winner again gives that nation, and in this case the Philippines, a fantastic reason to celebrate. So think about what could be the peak experience to the event that you are organizing. The final building block of the art of creative event design is design itself. And there's some basic principles for you to understand when designing an event. Visual communication is powerful and key to setting expectation and the mood. So think very carefully about what your event will look like to the participants. Understand your audience and use images and designs that your audience will understand and will be influenced by. And if you're using written text, have varied font sizes, different colors, because if you want somebody to remember something, it's easier for them to remember something if there is contrast in the way in which the text is presented. Use the color wheel in choosing your colors. Have colors which might sit side by side, the orange and the yellow, the red and the purple. Contrasting colors work as well. So blues contrast well with orange. So use the color wheel and the different tones to plan what your event will look like. This is a formal event, a dinner occasion, a gala dinner. One color is the base color for the event, the purple color, and then other colors are used to emphasize different parts of the space. The tables are in orange, there's highlights in blue. So choose your colors carefully to create a very stunning visual impact. And some people say that we can choose colors because of their emotion and how they affect emotions. The colors of the APM logo are blue and orange. Orange is, according to the Color Emotion Guide, enthusiastic, fun, confident, portrays energy. And blue is trust, loyalty, strength, dependable, confident. And for APM, that's true. That is how we like to be seen in accordance with our colour emotional guide. So those are the 4 building blocks of the art of creative event design. I hope you can remember them. We talked about creativity, storytelling, experience, and design. And the science comes from digital technology. So I'll spend the remaining few minutes of my presentation talking about digital technology for creative event design. We're in a digital revolution. It really started in 27, 28, when smartphones first were launched into the marketplace, the Apple iPhone, the Android phones. But we're still seeing transformation now. And that partly has been accelerated by the pandemic. We are now using technologies in the events industry that we probably wouldn't have been using until 2025, 2026. But because of lockdown, because of the pandemic, we're seeing a whole new range of technologies available to us. And now technology, it's in the palm of our hands. With a push of a button, a click, or a swipe, we can all be immersed in the event experience. So when you are designing an event, how can we use digital technology as part of the event experience? So designing an event is now part art and part digital science. And it's a very significant combination that creates a truly memorable event experience. And when we think about technology, we need to think about the whole event life cycle. The event life cycle is before the event, during the event, and after the event. So there's an event life cycle, and technology can be used at all stages of the event life cycle. Before the event, we have our website, our e-flyers to build anticipation. We need to make sure that the e-flyers that we use are attractive and will bring participants to our event. We need to make sure that the website reflects the brand and corporate identity. Also, before the event, online registration that can be used with smartphones and tablets. And also with online registration, ask the participant if they have any additional needs that we can plan for before the event starts. And use social media for our communications. So before the event starts, we can use digital technology and the applications to create excitement, to promote the event, to encourage registrations. Then in the event itself, how can we use digital technology? Well, let's light up the venue that we're using. Let's play music to attract people to come to the venue. Let's use digital signage to help people find their way inside the venue to the space that we're using. Let's have facial recognition for check-in, for registration. Let's use the event app to share information, which previously might have been shared using paper. So the event itself can use technology very heavily. And there's more examples here. Use virtual reality goggles to immerse people in the event. use our smart watches and other digital devices to connect people with what is happening in the event program. Use an iPad sketch artist to sketch people. This person here wanted to look like James Bond 007. So the iPad sketch artist sketched him in that character. And a souvenir to take away from the event, a fantastic digital souvenir. Use drones to take aerial photography. Give everybody a digital souvenir, a picture of their part in the event, who they met. These picture images are of an APM event that we organized, and each participant had their own personal memento as a digital photo souvenir to take away with them. Use robots, artificial intelligence, and always have a selfie wall. And on that selfie wall, say where you would like those images to be posted, because they will help promote your event. And have a selfie wall because we all like to have our pictures taken, and we all like to share our pictures on social media. And then after the event, still keep on using digital technology. Use your website to post videos and pictures of the event to help promote your next event. Keep your app running so that you can have an ongoing conversation with your participants, and keep using social media to regularly communicate with your participants. So events are now being transformed by digital mobile technology, and it's part of our life in the events world, and we have to keep up to date with the contemporary means of using digital technology for the events industry. But people say, think outside the box. But I say, don't just think outside the box. Think like there is no box, because that is what our technology experts do. They think like there is no box. Very soon, we'll be using these fantastic spectacles, Google spectacles, Apple spectacles, transferring information from the internet direct into our vision. Holograms are appearing all over the world. Is Michael Jackson alive or dead? He's both, because he can perform at an event as a hologram. And humanoids are becoming more sophisticated. Not just a robot, but a robot that looks like a human. And all of these will be technology developments that will be impacting even more heavily on the events industry in the future. So we have to think like there is no box. So I'm coming towards the end of my presentation now, and the art and science of creative event design is based upon building blocks. 5 building blocks: creativity, storytelling, experience, design, and I hope you can remember the 5th one, which is digital technology. So those are, from my perspective, the building blocks of the art and science of creative event design. And a well-organized event will have each of these building blocks in the event. And this is what makes a truly memorable experience for our participants. So my conclusion is exciting and innovative developments in the world of events are happening now through art and science. Art and science are involved in all aspects of the production and management of an event. What we see in front of us when we go as participants and what occurs backstage. Art and science are involved in the production and management of events. And the technological innovations that we are experiencing now are part of the whole delivery process of events. Strategic design, marketing, production, audience engagement, participation, and also how we evaluate an event. Finally, be creative. We can all be creative. You don't have to be a special person. It's a process. Fully utilize art and science in all stages of the event life cycle. So when you're planning an event, think about before the event starts, during the event, and after the event. Enjoy events management. It's a very different sector of employment to be in. And if you enjoy it, then your participants will enjoy coming to your event. Become a student member of APM. Join us on Facebook. And best wishes to you all for great success in the future, as I hope you will do, in contributing to the professionalization of the Asia Pacific events industry. So it's been my pleasure sharing my ideas with you today, and I'll close my sharing and return to our main site for any questions and answers.
Yes, well, superb presentation and superb explanation, Prof. Thank you very much for explaining in a so wonderful way. And your time management is so wonderful that you are explaining with such a calmness, and then you are connecting the different dots, and you are explaining each and everything in a wonderful way. Prof, that speaks for your command on knowledge, that speaks for your expertise, experience, and wisdom, particularly. That how wonderful way you have covered all the content, and I love the building blocks, and I love the way you started it right from the creativity, because we received a lot of questions regarding the creativity that in event management industry or the event the design, you must think out of the box and all these things. So in a wonderful way, in a very intelligent way, you cover all these things. There is no need of box at all. So I
Thank you, Steve.
love that place. Yes, bro. So you have covered 80% question in all these things, because most of the questions were related to the digitalization and its role, particularly the artificial intelligence and all these creativity. And I love the way you started the presentation, and then you came across all the things and the flow, and finally your conclusion was so wonderful, and your final words were so wonderful. But nevertheless, we have few questions for you, Prof, because a lot of people have already emailed us in advance the questions to ask you. So the first question, Prof, they would like to ask is that, Prof, please guide us. What is the basic criteria for judging the level of professionalism in the event management? So how do you see from your expert opinion that what should they look for, whether they are getting the right education, right guidance, and whether they are in the safe hands and good hands, that they are professionally, really they know the event management, because it is the discipline as it is science and art. Your view on that, please.
Yep, thank you very much, and a very good question. Some people will enter the events industry without any formal education or training. And that's fine because there are no barrier entries to becoming an event professional. But if you want to work at a national or international level as an event organizer, you will need to have a qualification. You can get a qualification from a university that includes events management within its curriculum, and that curriculum might be part of tourism or hospitality or business. So you can study about events management at a university, polytechnic or college. But if you are interested in vocational training, then there are a number of organizations all over the world that provide vocational training. APM, we have our APM Academy, and we have vocational training for people who want to gain an international qualification in creative event design or event planning or event management. And all of our qualifications are 100% online. So no matter where you study in the world, you can become an APM certified creative event designer or APM certified event planner or APM certified event manager. But the vocational courses are different to a university education. Your university education will take 3 or 4 years, and you'll learn so much in a university degree. A vocational course is very focused and very specific. So a lot depends upon your education and training needs. But if you want to work professionally within the industry, then undertake education and training. And just behind me, you can see 2 event books behind me, and use your own time to read and understand also what we're saying in textbooks as well. But that was a very good question. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Prof, for such a wonderful answer. And that's what the people used to ask, that because they know that, yes, the certified people, they know the right education, they know the basic concepts and application of it. So you have very rightly mentioned, and I used to follow this, your academy, that APIEM. It's wonderful. You people are doing a fantastic job. Congratulations on such a wonderful initiative. It is benefiting the world in a very wonderful way. As you mentioned that you people are doing mostly on online, which is again very good opportunity for the rest of the people who cannot leave their country, who cannot come for that physically, but still they can get advantage of your expertise and your team expertise in that perspective, and they can have a certification for it. And you have very rightly mentioned, yes, certification do certify that, yes, you know the nitty gritty of this education and this discipline particularly, which is fabulous. So I would definitely recommend the audience that please have a contact with the prof and the APIEM, become a member of them and take advantage of it. Because if you want to be in that industry, you have to be a certified by the certified people and the certified experts who are always there to help you and to guide you in the right direction. Because what I was discussing with the prof before the session, that it is not the trial and error way, it is the organized and systematic knowledge, and you have to learn it in a proper way. So very nicely said, Prof. Thank you very much for a elaborative answer. Prof, we have one another question which you have already covered in your presentation, but still that person wants to ask in the context of developing country. The question is that, Prof, that the role of artificial intelligence is so important in event management. How do you see the role of artificial intelligence and particularly the robots in event management, but particularly in developing country, because we do not have access to that high level of robots and the AI in the developing countries? So what do you recommend for us in the future? Yes, your view on that, please.
Yeah. Well, what I would say in reply to the question is that we do live in a global society. And whilst we might live in a country which hasn't yet achieved a high level of technological expertise or development, other countries have. And with the way that technology develops for the events industry, I think that there are three parts to it. There are the experts in technology who are not event people. They are the people that can develop artificial intelligence, that can think of ways in using the internet. So there's some very intelligent people in different parts of the world who are continually thinking about developing new applications of technology for the world in general. Then we have event technology specialists. And these event technology specialists understand what's happening on a global scale, and they start to adapt and implement that technology in their own country, in their own region. And then there are the event organizing companies who will subcontract work to the event technologist. So there will be people in many developing countries who fit into this process here. There will be event organizers who will work with event technology specialists in that country to use technological advancements that have been developed on a global scale. So I am very confident that in most countries of the world, Pakistan included, there will be specialist event companies that are developing applications that can be used by event organizers. And the internet these days just enables us to connect so easily with each other. So I wouldn't be worried about not having the opportunities in a developing country that might be available in a more developed country, because technology helps us to connect. And there will be entrepreneurs in most countries who are skilled at utilizing technology. We just have to do a search to build up our networks and start working with people who have got the expertise.
Once again, very nicely said, Prof. And that's what the beauty is. The expert make it very easy for the people. And of course, what you have recommended is the same thing. We live in a globalized world, and the technology, particularly as at global scale and around the corner, we are getting the all the technology advancement, whatever is happening, and we are taking advantage of it. Like this webinar, you are sitting in United Kingdom, we are sitting in Pakistan, Islamabad, but still we are getting the advantage of it, and it is affecting us. So we must understand its impact, and we have to equip ourselves. And for that, we need to build our skills, and we need to polish our skills for that perspective. Very nicely said once again, Prof. Thank you very much. The another question, Prof, is very interesting question, and you have already covered this as well, but it's a bit different as well, but it is somehow related to it. The question is, Prof, that they want to ask the role of personality in event management, and particularly the mentality. Do the positive mentality helps us in towards more in event management, or it has something to do with the creativity only? Prof, your opinion on that, please.
Yep, yep. To be successful in the events industry, you do need to have characteristics that enable you to cope with pressure, to be able to organize yourself and your team effectively, to work to deadlines, to be a very detailed thinker, to have a plan A, a plan B, a plan C, and you need to be somebody who is confident when faced with a problem. So there's many different personal qualities needed to be working in the events industry. And that word, which was part of the question, is you do need to be positive. If a situation arises, and all events will result in challenges, you have to be positive in your own thinking and behavior when dealing with that challenge. And you just have to think about all the different things which could go wrong, have a plan ready to implement, and hopefully that will make the event run smoothly. But you do have to be a positive thinker. And if you are somebody who maybe can't cope quite so well in a difficult situation, then maybe being in the events industry isn't a good career choice for you.
Yes, very nicely said once again, Prof. You have made it very easily, and that's what I would say again. That the beauty of the expert, that make it, they make the things very easy for the people. Because of the time constraint, the last question, Prof, is that you have already mentioned in your presentation as well, but the question is again a bit different from it. They want to ask that, Prof, do you agree that the post-event management is more crucial than the event management itself? Your opinion on that, because you have already covered that thing, but that person is asking that is it more crucial because we have to follow up a lot regarding what the post-event engagement is. Yes, your opinion on that, please.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's more or less important. It's all part of the event life cycle. And to some extent, an event organizer might think that the event is finished when their participants leave to go home and they relax. They've had a very busy time in organizing the event and that they want to just relax, which is important. But the next day after the event, you have to engage in post-event relationships with your client, with your sponsors, with other stakeholders who've supported the event, and with the participants. So it's a characteristic of a good event organizer that after the event, they maintain relationships with all those people who have made the event a success. And it could be as straightforward as sending out a thank you letter via email. It could be organizing a post-event evaluation survey. It could be organizing a celebratory lunch or dinner for the key stakeholders. And it's important to maintain relationships because when you organize your next event, it may well be that you want the same sponsors to sponsor your event. And you might want the same participants to come to your next event. So it's an important part of the event life cycle, and it should not be ignored. Perhaps the most important part of the event life cycle is the event itself, creating that memorable experience. But after the event, maintain relationships.
Yes, Prof. Very nicely said. Thank you very much for such an elaborative answer. And now, Prof, quickly just tell us for our audience uh, so that they can take advantage of your expertise. Tell us about your book, which is very interesting and practical. That is International Business Practice in Event Management. and how can they go for the certification with your organization? Quickly for just our audience, please.
Yeah. So our book, which is International Best Practice in Event Management, is available from Google Books as an ebook. So if you just go to Google Books and search for International Best Practice in Event Management, it's available all over the world, and it's not expensive through Google Books. If you wish to find out about becoming an APM Academy scholar, then we have our website, which was at the beginning of my presentation, www.theapiem.com. And on our website, you'll find a link to our academy. But if you are interested and you want to email me direct, then it's a very simple email address, all one word, apmacademy@gmail.com. So that's apiem academy@gmail.com. apmacademy@gmail.com.
Okay, very nicely said. Thank you very much, Prof, for wonderful information. And of course, the people will spend that much amount because it's worth it, and they have to learn and they have to develop that skills, which is very much easily written in this book. And I'm also reading this book, which is very wonderful. And I strongly recommend to the audience that they should buy it and they should learn from it, because it is both. It is a blend of your academia plus industry experience. So finally, we ask our each guest, Prof, what is your message to the world as a teacher, researcher, trainer, learner, professional, and educator? Yes, please.
So that's a very good question to finish our broadcast on. And what I would say is that no matter who you are, no matter where in the world you live, education and training transforms lives. Don't underestimate the importance of education and training. I wouldn't be sitting here today without my education and training, and I'm sure Dr. Haider Shah would not be sitting where he is today without his education and training. Some people say you can be overqualified, but I think that every qualification you get will open an additional door for you. So education and training transform lives. No matter where in the world we live, we should all appreciate that we are lifelong learners.
Yes.
Our learning never finishes. And
Yes.
it's something which, if we want to progress our life, our well-being, education is one of those important contributing factors.
Yes. Wonderful message to the world, Prof. Thank you very much for such a learning session for all of us. It is wonderful message to the world, and I hope people will just learn from it and they will develop their skills and everything regarding that thing. So indeed, we need to equip ourselves for this particular field of event management and should learn from the experts, as they will teach us the basic concepts and applications. So do follow the distinguished guest speaker through his research work, and you can email him for future learning and guidance. He is very generous and always ready to help the people. Moreover, wonderful explanation and powerful content which the great speaker has already elaborated will help you to learn and develop your understanding regarding the event management. So take advantage of all the information, the important tips and suggestions shared by the expert. So that is all we have time for today. Thank you once again, Professor David Hind, and also the audience who attended this webinar. If you have any additional question about the information shared today, you can email to us, or you can connect to the speaker directly, or through social media, or his email address. We will be providing you all these things. Thank you all for your support and liking our sessions. Stay tuned, because many more sessions are in the way. Please do not miss any session. So till next session, take care of yourself. God bless you. Bye bye.